Now we're taking on education reform in the Garden State. Joining us now, Assemblyman Vincent Prieto and filmmaker Bob Bowdon. Bob just did a film on, a documentary, in fact, on education reform, and the Assemblyman is the Majority Deputy Whip. Assemblyman, let me start with you. It's my understanding here with the tenure situation, there are basically 4 different levels that teachers can attain. We'll call it A, B, C, and D. They have to be at an A or a B level for 3 years, and that's how they get tenure under this new proposal. That seems to me pretty logical. You have a problem with that. Why does that not make sense?
I have a problem with the proposals, how you're going to attain this tenure, and if it's by performance of children, I have a problem that sometimes what's going to happen is teachers are going to teach to a test and not really teach the children.
But Bob, don't they have to teach to a test right now?
Look, this conversation has to be in the context of what we have now, which is a tenure system that's a disaster for children in New Jersey. 3 years in a day, and you have a guaranteed job for life, unless there are overall cuts in staff because of budget cuts or declining enrollment, that kind of thing. And then in that case, it's only seniority. So when you look at New Jersey, 17 teachers that were tenured teachers were fired not just last year statewide, which would be shocking with over 600 districts, but in the last 10 years, only 17 tenured teachers.
But you can't say it's a disaster. You know, the education system is not a disaster. We need to look at failing schools and where those failing schools are. We have children that have, you know, social and economical difficulties.
Understand that. What's wrong with this proposal, Assemblyman? I'm still not clear.
The issue that I have with this proposal is how you're going to tie. Who's going to administer that's going to be looking over somebody's shoulder? I am scared that once the economy gets better, teaching profession is not going to be something that's going to attract the good teachers. We may have talented teachers here. There needs to be certain protection in here that not somebody for any political reasons or for anything can terminate somebody.
Right, so and that is the argument about tenure, Bob. I mean, that's why tenure is there in the first place, because many of the teaching systems in the state before tenure was here, they were basically political appointments.
That's right. Well, it's something called being fired for cause, and I'm all for that. In fact, this system does that very much, too. You have to be given bad ratings 2 years in a row, and even then you're not fired with this new proposal. Even then, you just don't have tenure anymore. So in other words, you have a guaranteed job for life unless you have 2 consecutive years of bad ratings.
Why is there so much pushback from the union on this particular proposal about tenure?
Well, the problem is, how are you going to administer? Is it going to be on performance of children? Do these children have the proper foundation? You can only build a building as high and as strong as that foundation is. So it may be a teacher that has inherited children.
But don't the teachers have control over that?
But once it gets to that particular teacher that now it's being evaluated at this point in time, it may not be fair. It may be a great teacher.
But if this system makes sense, let's apply it to all jobs in New Jersey. How about no one is ever fired? We all have guaranteed jobs for life. Would that make sense?
No.
Because that's what they have.
You can't measure everybody with a broad brush. It's not quite like that. It makes sound we're vilifying teachers, and as you said, there's some. But when you said it's a disaster,
it's
being vilified.
Vincent Prieto, Bob Bowdon, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.